Alright, I'm going to talk today about opening up cartridges, 8-track cartridges that have this style of tab configuration. It's like 5 tabs that are kind of angled and hooked onto lips that are holding them, holding the two halves of the shell together. People just love to just get in here and break all these off, and it's just not necessary. Some of these are easier to do. There's lots of different cartridge styles that have these. It's a and there's actually some which I'll show in a different video, that like Reader's Digest cartridges. That's that style of cartridge that I like to call it. It's mainly from the 80s, that has a similar configuration, but you kind of have to deal with it differently. Also, I think like Ampex cartridges have a similar configuration, but these holes are not. See, notice that these are kind of all the same size tabs and holes. Well, these holes are a little bit bigger, but basically it's kind of the same. They're all the same size tab. Plastic piece in there. The Ampex, the hole is smaller on these, just on these top two. The bottom are these size, but you have to do these two a different way. But I'm just talking about this for today. I'm using a chopstick here as a pointer, but not only that, this is like just a tool that I use all the time in opening 8-tracks. I recommend you order some Chinese food and hang on to the chopstick. Ask for some chopsticks and then hang on to them after you eat, of course washing them first. Another thing we're going to use here is, besides the chopstick, is this clothespin, which is, I just use this on so many different cartridges as an assist tool to open it up. You put a rubber band around the end of the clothespin that normally is like open, and then it forces this part, which is normally forced closed, it forces it open. So you just pop it in this tape hole, and it's applying pressure against the halves so that for them to open, and that just frees your hands up and is very, very helpful. So with this, and there might be some slight variations, like these tabs are all pointed the same way. I don't know if you can tell, but they're kind of triangular shaped and they're all pointed down, which means that the lip is on the bottom side of all these. There are some where I think the tab is pointed the opposite direction, so just modify for those. But basically, they're angled. I don't know if you can tell, but they're kind of like at an angle. They have a slope to them. They're like headed, pointed down. So you want to insert, and this is kind of a dull. All my chopsticks are kind of dull. Let's see, I'll use this. This is one that was newer or whatever. Anyway, put the chopstick in this crack where the slope ends. Okay. So it's pointed, it's like up at an angle. Now you're going to hold with your thumbs, you want to hold on to the bottom half of the shell. If you're holding onto the top half, you're just working against yourself, putting pressure against, the plastic tab is attached to the top shell. So grip the bottom part and basically apply pressure and then crank it down. Oops. Okay, same over here. Okay, so you're just basically going while you're pushing into that slope crack. Now with this, I like to, now I do this with a lot of tapes. When you get to this point, I'll pry the halves apart a little bit, because these tabs are still holding it together, and put my fingertips inside this crack, so it's pinching my fingertips and basically my fingertips are doing the same thing that this was doing. Now here, all you have to do is just put it in there and push. You hear the pop, separates it. Turn it upside down like that. These are real easy. Oh, okay, so now that it's upside down, you know, whereas before you had it like kind of up at an angle and you levered down, now you're pointing up, or you're levering up like that. And it's just, you know, very easy to separate these two. Even on the Ampex and some other kinds of cartridges that, you know, have this 5-tab configuration, you will find that you'll still, you know, be able to use the chopsticks. So definitely stock up on chopsticks, and I'll cover those other similar 5-tab style cartridges that have like a little variation, the Reader's Digest, like I mentioned, and Ampex in a different video. Thank you.